Hey guys, SHOT Show 2025 is here, and because of that, you're going to see a little bit of an influx here on the channel. We're going to try to interview as many influential people in the Second Amendment space, as well as manufacturers that we possibly can, so that you can have information on who's contributing here in the Second Amendment advocacy world. So gear up. We're probably going to be getting out about a video a day as we go through these interviews, so be sure to look out for that in the upcoming couple weeks. Dating all the way back to 2016, bump stocks have been an issue that has been talked about for almost 8 years now. Looks like in 2024, we got the decision that was ultimately necessary to keep them legal. The main plaintiff in that case is Michael Cargill, ended up being Cargill versus USA. We got an opportunity to sit down with him. Let's talk about it. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel today. Another privilege of being here at SHOT Show. We get an opportunity to sit down with Michael Cargill. If you aren't familiar with this one, we have covered it on the channel before. Originally Garland v. Cargill. Now I believe it's Cargill v. USA. This is a lawsuit all the way up at the Supreme Court, originally having to do with bump stocks. Michael, thanks for being with us today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, sir.
Absolutely. And guys, before we get into this today, please, as always, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to these videos. Really helps get this information far and wide. As you can tell, we are going to the source to get this information out there. So please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Really helps get the info out there. So Michael, if you can, I mean, sort of just from the beginning, where does this challenge start? What's your state of mind, and what pushes you to end up becoming a plaintiff in the lawsuit?
Sure, absolutely. So this started back when in Las Vegas, when a madman allegedly used a bump stock attached to a rifle to be able to shoot the concert goers that were attending a concert here in Las Vegas. And so the ATF decided they were going to ban bump stocks. They weren't going to go through Congress. They were going to do it themselves and just do it by the stroke of a pen. And so I decided to challenge them on this because that's not something that the ATF can actually do. You can't just ban something and turn millions of Americans into felons overnight. So I decided to look for a law firm that would actually represent me. And they were actually looking for a client. And so we got together, we got married, and boom, we filed the Cargill case against the United States government.
And so, I mean, walk us through that. We're in California. We're pretty used to seeing challenges. Normally, we get good results at the federal district court, and then the state will appeal it up to the Ninth Circuit. What's that process been like, and what's the time frame that you're working with here?
Sure. So I'm from Texas. I'm from Austin, Texas. So that the trial originated in Austin in federal court, and of course, we lost the case in that court. So then I appealed the case to the Fifth Circuit. And in that court there was heard by three judges, a three-judge panel. And so, the Fifth Circuit is primarily made of conservative justices, but we pulled three liberal justices, all the three that were actually on that panel. And so we lost that case in the Fifth Circuit. We appealed the case again to the entire Fifth Circuit, so it was heard en banc in front of the entire Fifth Circuit there, and then we finally won. And so that's when the government, the ATF, decided to appeal the case, the DOJ, to the United States Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court took up the case. It was heard in 2024 in February. We won that case, and the ruling came down on June 14th, which is a Flag Day, which is also the Army's birthday. So it was a great day, great morning. We won that case, and that's when bump stocks became legal again. And the funny thing is, the ATF was actually trying to return the bump stocks to me, after the ruling. They came to my store like 3 different occasions to return my bump stock. And so I had to refuse to accept it, because if I would have accepted my bump stock from them, I would have lost standing in the case, and then there would have been nothing that made the ATF give everyone else's bump stocks back to them in the country. So I refused to take them. And I waited for the judge to actually sign the order. We went back to the lower court judge, said, hey, you got to sign this order, vacating the bump stock ban, and then making sure that everyone, can get their bump stocks back in the entire United States.
You know, I'm kind of curious on the timing of when that order came out. In the decision-making process, something that we saw last year, interestingly enough, was the Chevron deference being shot down. Did that play any part in the case, given that this was an ATF rule banning bump stocks?
So the same attorney that actually argued the Chevron deference is my attorney that argued my case in front of the United States Supreme Court. That same attorney is also the attorney that argued the case for President Trump. In front of the Supreme Court. So when we do this stuff, this is not about playing checkers. This is about playing chess. So you want to use an attorney that can actually stand in front of the United States Supreme Court that actually has a rapport with that court and is comfortable enough to present the information in that court, because I really wanted a win. I wanted a victory. I didn't want to come out of there, holding, my stuff between my hands. And so, he argued Trump's case. He argued the Chevron deference case, and so he came back and argued my case, and he's not a gun attorney. None of my attorneys were actually gun attorneys. They've never actually argued a gun case at all. And so I was able to convince them to do this, and it was simple. It's not really about firearms. It's about, the Chevron deference. It's about an administrative agency deciding that they're going to create a right law, and they can't do that. Also, it gave us a great understanding of what the definition of machine gun was. And the United States Supreme Court came out and said, you know what? The bump stock does not make a rifle a machine gun. So a machine gun, one action of the trigger, more than one round goes out, that's a machine gun. One action of the trigger, just one,
Right.
one round, then just a semi-automatic. So more than one round, machine gun. One round, semi-automatic. Simple as that.
Well, I'm normally saying that there's a lot of good stuff to look forward to, and while there is a lot of good stuff to look forward to, this is definitely something that's great that can be looked back upon last year, both the Cargill case and the Chevron deference being shot down. Michael, I appreciate you coming on and sharing with us today and enlightening us on what that was like.
Absolutely. And there's one more thing that we did that's breaking, and that is the case of the mom and pop gun stores. So the ATF actually was trying to, they came up with a zero tolerance policy to shut down the mom and pop gun stores. Well, I actually filed a lawsuit against the ATF and got them to reverse their policy. And so we were asking for a summary judgment. The Biden administration was going to take a loss. So instead of taking a loss, they decided to reverse that policy so that he can walk out of the door, without facing, another loss in federal court. And so they reversed the policy, and now, he was able to walk out of there with, with his head up, I guess, so to speak.
Well, yeah, I guess just a little more evidence that the culture is definitely shifting, and it is continuing to be backed up with the judicial system here in the United States. Well, thank you very much again, Michael, for coming on. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And guys, if you like videos like this, you want to continue to see them, please, as always, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to these videos. It's a great way for you to directly contribute to litigative and legislative efforts here in the state of California. Thanks again, guys, and we'll see you on the next one.